Hey everyone, Saro here. Today I wanted to make a video about the 3 games that I played in the Azuki TCG Regional. I am going to purely talk about the gameplay that happened in these games. I won't be addressing anything else as far as that goes. Just want to talk about the gameplay. These I thought were some pretty good games. This one especially, this first game, was a crazy game in my opinion. One that I can't believe I won, if I'm gonna be completely honest with you. And let me just fast forward past the shuffling. And here we go. We're gonna look at our opening hands. So now we can actually see what he has. I had no idea what he had. Looks like a frog, 2 strikes, and a 1-drop. He actually had a pretty strong opener. My hand has, it's kind of hard to see, handful of 1-drops. I don't fully remember. I know I have the 1 mana 2/1, the 2/2 in my hand, the Seer. And we're just going to start the game. I am going I'm going first in this game. So I'm going to start off with a turn 1 Ray in this game, I believe. Yeah, so I do start off with the Ray. And this is the opener you always want with fire. You have between Ray and Kindler. If you aggressively mulligan for them every game, you're over 95% to open on one of them. And this is the opening you want pretty much all the time. So he does play his Saburo, or his Ito, and he gets a second frog actually. And then he just passes on that with the 1 mana open. Presumably he wants to Sundering Strike my Ray. And I don't believe I'm going to give him the opportunity to do this. Yeah, so I just attack for 1, and he probably just reduces here, and he does. And now here the goal would be likely to just continue to flood onto the board here. And we'll see what I do here. I believe I play some more X2s, some more 1/2s here onto this board. There's also argument to want to play one of the hate. Like, you probably want to lead with a gate creature on this turn, a Searcher and a gate, or potentially a, actually I think what I do here is I play a Seiko and another 1/2, because he can't deal with both of my 1/2s in one go, and the Seiko is going to immediately threaten that Ito. I just don't remember what's in the hand, and it's kind of hard to see exactly. But I do believe I play a Seiko, because I remember in this game he uses his frog on my Seiko multiple times, and we'll see what I do. Yeah, so you can see I thumb that Seiko to the front of my hand. Still just thinking. And it's going to be the Seiko coming down here. Gate that up. And I don't know if I get a Kindler or if I get a X2 here. I get my Ruby to search here. So the Ruby is not bad because it, if I do attack with it, like, he doesn't love striking here. He is okay using a Sundering Strike on my, my Seiko though here. Actually opening this up. And the only thing is I already got him to tap, so he doesn't have the 1 mana, and I'm happy with him spending his strike to kill my Seiko here. And I just go with the second 1/2. So yeah, this is the play that I thought I made. I go double 1/2s with a Seiko backup. Now the Seiko is going to be aggressively pinging away his board and threatening that Ito. And if I remember correctly, he frogs this here. Untaps 1 and then holds strike up. So he does play the frog, deciding on what he wants to discard. He actually discards the Saburo, which is interesting. I would think that's a pretty good card for him. I don't know what the rest of his hand is in this game. I know he played a Gin and Tonica near the end. I wonder if that Gin and Tonic is still in his hand at this point of the game. Benzai, Frog. I know there was a Mizuki. It doesn't look like... It looks like the Mizuki is the last card in his hand, so I don't think he's got the Gin and Tonic to discard here. So I am left with these 2 1/2s in play. And at this point, I think I'm in a good position to just go after his board. I want to continue to shrink my opponent's board turn after turn. Now, I do have 3 mana, and this is a difficult turn for me. Because in my hand, at this point, I did find the Pekiro off that Ruby last turn. And I believe it's my only 3-drop in my hand at this point. I don't remember for certain. But I believe at this point it's... Yeah, so he's going to take this. Considers to reduce. He doesn't, and he accepts it. And now I have a 3-drop, and I can potentially play my 3-drop. I actually don't remember what I did, but looking at the board now, I actually... And from what I remember, I think I play 3-drop and then gate out the 2-2. If I remember correctly, I believe that's what I do on this turn. But I might also just go wide. Yeah, so I just go wide. I go for the Seiko here. And I do have a Warlord in my hand. Like, I do have the Black Jade Warlord play available to me. But it's not good because I know my opponent has 1 mana open and likely has a Sundering Strike, and I don't just want to give it to him. So here, I think I just go wide. And I actually think I make a mistake on this turn. Because later on, I'll do some attacks. And I open myself up to getting striked on this turn. Where I think if I had just... taken this turn slower and not attack later. So I take this Hokuto. I probably attack with this Hokuto. See, and I don't know what I want to do here. And I think I actually changed my mind off of this Hokuto. Yeah, so I never let go of it, and I think I just rush out the 2-2, which I think is a mistake. I actually think what I should be doing here is I should just attack face with the Ray, and then... Yeah, so I go for the 2-2, and I think this was a mistake on my end. Because now he takes the 2 damage, and he gets the opportunity to Sundering Strike my Ray, whereas if I had just, passed, if I had just gone wide and passed, my turn is looking very strong on future turns. But instead, I make this play where I give him the opportunity to Sundering Strike me. And I think this is a mistake. I think this particular turn 3 was a great opportunity for me to just go wide. And then force him to torrent me. See? And now he strikes me. But this strike is still not so bad because he's off torrent for this next turn. Actually. So the way this played out was okay for me, and I can still go wide. I can still flood board here. I am going to lose my 2-2. And that is what I do here, is I play the Hokuto. And let's see. Everything gets bottomed. It looks like... Yeah, I don't find anything on this Hokuto here, unfortunately. And it just gets bottomed. And so maybe this turn I shouldn't have... I think maybe in retrospect, this turn I would have been better off not doing the attack with the 2-2. And instead just playing out the 2-2. Both, like, playing out 2 2-2s and a 1-2. I think that would have been a much stronger turn here, rather than using my gate, and it gives me a lot more value into the later stages of the game. So I actually think this turn was a mistake on my end. But my opponent is off torrent for one more turn. He ends up frogging me my Seiko again on this turn, if I remember correctly. So he does look top 5, and he finds a pull down, I believe. And then he immediately discards it to the frog. And now he doesn't threaten to remove anything off my board here, so I think he just goes face with the frog once. And he bounces my Seiko back again. Yeah, so he sends my Seiko back and gets 1 mana again. And now he's built up a pretty reasonable board. The good thing is he attacks me here, so I get the ability to chip his board away once again. But I am starting to fall behind on the board. And I think because I used the Seer last turn, it becomes a little bit more difficult for me. Because I think I only have 1 Seer left in hand. I don't really remember what's going through my mind here. I know I'm focused on getting the board here. I want to go after this Mirage Frog. I have the Seiko back in my hand still. I still have Warlord. I still have Pekiro. And this is an interesting turn where you could go... You saw one Sundering Strike come out last turn. So you could potentially go for the Warlord on this turn. But I know I am very hesitant to do it into this one-man open because I still suspect that there's a Sundering Strike somewhere looming in this hand. So I go for the attack here. It goes through. And I go for the attack here. And he takes a while to think about it. And eventually he just lets it go through. And this is a nice victory for me on this turn. This is very strong for me on this turn. Because he doesn't want to walk into my Warlord. Now here is my real critical mistake in this game. So remember last turn I was saying that I shouldn't have attacked into that Sundering Strike. Here I make a big mistake, I believe, if I remember correctly, and we're going to see if I remember correctly. But I believe I still play Pekiro and I rush out a 2-2 here, again. I think that's the play that I make here in this spot. But that is a completely incorrect play. Looking back at this board state, I should be playing Pekiro in the back, activating Pekiro from the back, shooting off his 1-1, and then just playing a body in the front. And then playing a 1-1 body in the front, and then I leave Pekiro in my hand. Or I leave Pekiro in the back. Looking back at this board state and thinking about it after a while, that would have been the correct play to have made. Because that puts me in a position where I'm passing the turn with 4 creatures in play, and my opponent is looking at a just a 1-2 in play. You could also make the argument that on this turn, I should not have even started with attacking with my Hokuto. Because by attacking with my Hokuto, I've now given it up to his Mirage Frog next turn. So I think, in retrospect, I should have just attacked with my 2-1s. I should have played Pekiro in the back. I should have pinged, and I should have played a creature. And I shouldn't even attack. And I think that would have set up a much more powerful turn next turn. But that was not a line that I had identified at the table. And I end up going for the Pekiro play, if I remember correctly. And we'll see what happens. And you can see, I'm like, I don't know what to do here. At this point, I'm like, this is this is round 6 for me. I'm like already starting to get a little mentally fatigued. And like, I have so many options in this game. This was a game where I had so many lines to take. I took so many unorthodox lines in this game. And this was just a hard game to win, to be honest with you. I believe I tap 3, and then I untap 3, and then I do it again. Like, I don't fully remember. I know I just was very conflicted on how to handle this turn. And I don't even think I recognized that I had Pekiro in the back as an option. Pekiro in the back, ping away the Ito. Very good play here. Yeah, so I do go for the tap 3. And then I think I untap 3 again. Yeah, see, I'm so conflicted on how to handle this. And I'm leaking information now at this point. And this is honestly, like, this was not a clean turn for me. I think the last turn, getting striked, wasn't so bad. But I think the way that I play into this turn is really not good for me. I think this gate was a complete mistake on my end. I should not have gated this. I should have just played Pekiro in the back and then played a creature. But I'm so focused on, like, how do I develop the board, and I walk straight into his Torrent like this. And you can tell just the way that I'm playing, like, the way that I decided against the Hokuto, and I wasn't sure what to do. Like, I just didn't know how to handle this game at this point. So he takes it, he decides he wants to reduce, then he goes, hold on, I changed my mind. I'm going to strike the Ray instead. Which I think was really difficult for me, actually. And this wasn't something that I had expected. Yeah, so he strikes my Kindler. Basically the same thing as striking my Ray. And I was a little confused. I forgot that it even had damage on it. He explained to me that it has damage on it. And now he torrents me, and I walk right into this torrent. So I do develop onto this board, but I give up a lot here. And I think I would be in so much better of a position if I just played this Pekiro to the back and didn't bring him up. So now here, I do go for this. I remove, and turn ends, and then the seer goes away. Now he goes and gets the free Hokuto here, which, again, I shouldn't have attacked with this Hokuto. I think it was a little bit of a mistake, and this torrent is devastating here. And this torrent would have been not nearly as bad if... This torrent would have been nearly as bad if I had just played the Pekiro to the back. But unfortunately, that's not what I did here. And at least I'm left with a Ray. That is the one good thing about this position. It looks like I forget to untap my Ray. There we go. I get the Ray. And now my hand is... If I can see... I Fire Orb him on this turn. So this is... I know I Fire Orb him on this turn. And I just push damage. And my hand is, like, thin. I, like, don't have much at all anymore at this stage of the game. My hand is, I believe, Fire Orb, Warlord, and, like, maybe a Ruby. I can't see... I think I top decked the Ruby on a later turn. I don't think it's Ruby in my hand. I don't think it's a creature. I don't think it was a one-drop creature, because I think I just Fire Orb past this turn, and I just try to push as much damage as I can this turn. And at this point, I'm like in a lot of trouble. My hand is not giving me the tools I need, and the water player is starting to pull ahead. Yeah, so I do just go for the Fire Orb, and that's all that I do. No one-drop to go along with it. I know Warlord is in my hand. I don't know what else is in my hand. He does go Mizuki here. He finds a crab, I remember. Yeah, so he does take the crab. And now this crab is threatening to make it more difficult for me to get any kind of progress going as well. Yeah, so let's see. So I am... The good thing is this crab is in the back. I believe I ping the Ray and push damage again. Yeah, so I do push one here. He reduces. And now it's like, where do I find this 6 damage? And at this point, it's so hard to find it, and I just flood. I know I have, like, nothing left here. This Warlord has been sitting in my hand all game. It was always under threat of dying to the strike that I knew he had. And it's time for me to go all in at this point. And this was... I am proud of how this play ended up working through this game, because I recognize that, like, this Warlord was never going to get through if I gated in. And we see that opponent had the strike all game long. And now it's like, dude, I'm looking at these 3 cards. They're all 1-drops and a Warlord. And I believe it's like 1-2 I play. I think there's a Seiko in my hand. I think it's like Seiko, 1-2, and Warlord that I play this turn. And I just go in. Yeah, so here we see the hardcast Warlord. At this point, I've decided it's time. He has to come in. I'm not going to get the opportunity otherwise. And I'm just in on this turn. Yeah. So opponent does have this Mizuki. The good thing is I attacked the face with the Ray last turn. So this Mizuki has to attack into my 1-2. Like, it can't go face to me. He is forced to deal with my creatures at this point. And I'm hellbent here. I have no cards in hand now. I've gone all in on this somewhat weak board state. But luckily, I dodged the torrent. This was a huge, huge opportunity for me to get back into this game. Opponent did not have Mizuru's torrent. And just like that, I'm actually back in this game. And this is a game that I felt I was losing the entire time. I think if I had made that turn 4 play, if I had done a different line, the one that I had been talking about earlier, I think this turn 4 would have gone much better for me. or if that turn 4 had gone what I believe would have been the correct way, I think this game would have been a lot easier. But because I made that turn 4 play, I think I was behind in a lot of this game. But because he only plays Mizuki this turn, and this Mizuki is taxed into attacking my Rei because he's under so much threat from me right here, I am somehow back in it. And this is kind of a crazy board state at this point. Now, the awkward thing is the Seiko has to ping my Rei. So that means that I am not allowed to use my 0 ability. Yeah, and I just send it at the frog. I have no intention of using this 1 point of damage that I have. And I haven't even looked, or maybe I did look at what my card is. It is a ruby. I remember that for sure. So the Warlord comes in. He is going to reduce, I believe. Or he blocks. Yeah, he does block. Now I sack, and I push damage here. And I push him down to 3 life. Attack with the Seiko, get him to 3. And now I play Ruby. And I leave the Ruby in the back. The reason I leave the Ruby in the back is because what I'm going to end up drawing off of this Ruby is a collateral burst. Yeah, so the Ruby comes down. I do draw 5. And I think actually there's a Pekira there. Like, none of these are what I need. And then the collateral burst is the last card. So I do actually find something here. But I am 1 damage off lethal. Which, if I had made that different turn 4 play, I would have that 1 damage. And I wouldn't be in this scary position. I believe. Maybe I'm wrong. But I do think that turn 4 made a massive difference in the way that this game played out. So here, I don't really know what to do. I have the option of taking Pekiro, and I have the option of taking this Collateral Burst. Collateral Burst is not enough to kill him. And at this point, I am dead if opponent has tension. I just am. I'm at 10. He has double Mizuki. And I'm just dead if there is a tension off the top here. I do take Collateral. I bottom the rest. And then I think a little bit about what I want to do with this Ruby. And ultimately, I just pass. I don't want to use this Collateral quite yet. Because I can use the Collateral next turn with the Ruby. So there's like consideration to gating the Ruby up and collateraling it, or to collateral my Seiko. But there's reason that you want to leave these bodies in play. Partially because they tax him. The opponent is taxed into attacking into my creatures, because otherwise he might be dead. So this Mizuki has to go into my Rei, I believe. Yeah, the Mizuki does go into my Rei. This one goes face, pushes me down to 7, and then he plays a G&T. And now it's just like, dude, we're both so all in here. I have stone 2 damage in my hand. Opponent is at 1. You can also see, look. If you go back a second, if you look at my hand on the table, I tap the table. Oh, you actually only see it in the camera in the corner. But I do tap the table, like I'm banging my deck. Like I know I need it. I need something off the top to make. I need to dodge the tension. And so now he's played G&T. And at this point, like, you can say, oh, why don't you just let him draw 2? Letting him draw 2 allows me to die to him drawing tension, and it also gives him the opportunity to draw into Healing Flutter. And I know I need something immediately. I only have 1 turn to draw out of this. And it doesn't make any sense for me to allow opponent to draw 2 cards, which can let him draw something that could completely swing the game. Instead, I would rather take 3 damage. I go to 4, so I still have the opportunity to top deck Fireball and win, because I'm at 4. I'm not at 3, I'm at 4, which is so crucial. And yeah, so that is the line here. And because because I had a 1/1 in play, That like, because I had that Seiko in play, you know what the opponent should have done here, actually? This turn, the Seiko, he should have ignored. He should have attacked me with his frog. If he attacked me with his frog, I would be at 3 life here, and I would actually be dead to rights. But he didn't. He actually made a huge blunder here. Because the Seiko was forced to kill itself, no matter what. That's actually so crazy. I got so lucky this game. I dodged the second torrent. My opponent made that huge misplay. This misplay this turn. He has a crab too. Look at this bang. Look at this bang on the deck, bro. Look at this. Look at this. I'm dead to rights. Bang, 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 bang. Top deck it off the top. Such a sigh of relief for me there. Crazy game. I could not believe I won that. If the opponent played the frog, I was dead. If he attacked me with the frog and let my Seiko kill itself, I lose that game. I got unbelievably lucky here, in retrospect. So I made a huge turn 4 mistake. My opponent punted back with his own cup mistakes, it seems like. And I was lucky enough to dodge tension and lucky enough to dodge the second Mizuyu's torrent. And that's the only reason I was able to get in on this game. Now let's fast forward to game 2 that I have on camera. And now here I'm playing against Alchemist. The playmat comes out this time around. And we're in. So I know me and Alchemist spend a lot of time just talking. So let me just fast forward. And now I lose the dice roll. Opponent is starting the game. And this is the Fire Mirror, so this is never a good position to be going second in the Fire Mirror. And I actually can't believe how much time we spent just talking. It's my fault. I spent a lot of time talking and shuffling. But there we go. We do start the game. And look, right away. Look, my opponent's hand is 2 Sundering Strikes. And a Fireball. And a Collateral Burst. This hand is completely unplayable. And he's forced to mulligan. Now, I chose to not play any copies of Sundering Strike. I chose not to play any copies of Detonation Pact. And I chose to only play 3 copies of Fireball. And the reason I built my deck like this was because I wanted to have as many functional hands as possible. I didn't ever want to draw into a hand where the hand is almost good, but it's just short a creature and it's up 1 spell. So I cut a lot of these cheap spells that could be useful and that could win you games because I valued just the raw consistency of my opening hand. And I think that single decision, I think that single decision for how I constructed my deck is the only reason that I won this game going second on the draw. Because opponent is forced to mulligan initial hand, and then look at what he draws into. He draws into a hand that's okay. He doesn't have a 1-2, and he is forced to go all in. He has a Detonation Pact. Me, on the other hand, I'm going second, and I know I opened this game with double 1s. We probably do some more shuffling here. Okay, game starts. He starts off with Ruby, pings it. He does get the Cinderwake. I know he pings this Ruby. He brings up the 2-2, and then he pings it and pushes 3 damage. Which, this is a play that, as far as I'm concerned, I think this is one of the weakest turn 1s you can have as Fire in this particular format. Especially in the mirror. I think the damage doesn't actually matter that much. Both decks do tons of damage to themselves, and you're just trying to be as healthy as possible in this matchup, especially going first. I think your job going first is to try to make to turn 5 so you can win the game. And by paying life, you make it harder to make it to turn 5. And we're going to see that 1 damage is probably going to come up later. So we do go for the turn 1 Ray, and I believe I have a second Ray, or a Kindler, or something like that. Or maybe I go Seiko here. I think I go Seiko, gate it up, kindle away his Ruby, and then play a creature. Or no, I don't play a creature. I think it's Seiko, kindle away his Ruby. And completely grab the board. Let's see. I actually don't remember. Yeah, so it is Seiko. I believe I might just kindle away his board, or I play a Hokuto. I don't remember which. Yeah, I just go for the Hokuto because the Seiko has the ruby pinned anyway. So I value getting the 1 damage my... So this is a weird spot. I'm valuing here getting 1 damage to opponent more than I am immediately dealing with this ruby. Partially because I believe I only have the 1 Kindler in my hand, and I don't want to get rid of it right away. I value the Kindler very heavily in this matchup. I think Fnatic Kindler is an extremely important card in this matchup. So here, I am valuing digging deeper into my deck and finding a second Kindler or finding a second Seiko over the ability to just kill his Ruby right away, because I know my Seiko has his Ruby pinned already. And so now this Ruby is kind of forced into attacking, and if the Ruby attacks, then I can kill it with my own gate on a future turn. And I do find the Kindler as well. And here you can see I make a little bit of... I'm just a little confused for a second. I put the Kindler in my graveyard. Then I realize, wait, that's supposed to be in my hand, and I put the other thing in the graveyard. Like, we're already 7 rounds in, dude. Like, I'm starting to get a little tired, for sure. This is the most card games I've played in a day, competitive, like this competitive, in a very long time. And I'm really proud of how this day has gone so far. Like, I'm 6-0 at this point in the tournament. Sure, I made a couple mistakes. I think the nerves are starting to get to me a little bit. Like, that water game, you don't see it, but by the end of that game, my hands are shaking by the end of that water game. And I think the same for this one, too. Like, and then when they, like, in the final game, my hands are, like, when I'm 8-0, I'm just, like, so shook. So here, I get the start of the turn. My Seiko is going to ping my Ray. It's going to kill his Ray. So we put some dice, represent the damages here. I top deck. I'm telling opponent, like, I didn't draw. I'm going to draw now. Alright, we're on the same page. I'm drawing my card. So now, I'm on 2 mana. And I rip 2-drop off the top, I believe. I rip something off the top. I think it was a 2-drop. I think it was a spice that I get off the top, but I can't see my hand. I don't know what it is. So I do go for Ruby. Look at top 5. And I think it's a spice right here. Yeah, spice was the last card right there. So that was the 2-drop. I know I had the 2-drop because I tell him in the arms of an angel here. And you see my hands you see my face light up because I draw exactly what I need. Ruby's going to come up. It's going to get me a Kindler. I'm going to get rid of his Ray. And now I don't remember what I do with this other mana. I might just play another Kindler here. I play another Ray. And I think I pass. I might even suicide my... it is possible that I suicide my my Seiko here. That it's done its job, and I don't think I need it anymore, but I don't remember. I know I push damage. Yeah, so I do suicide it. I deem at this point that this card has done its job, and if I leave it around, it's going to become a liability. So I let her go. He draws Sundering Strike. He goes 3-drop, gates it up, and I believe he has a weak gate here. Oh, no, he has Warlord. Wow, so he had Warlord on the play, dude. What is, like... His hand is good. The reason I'm so ahead in this game is because his turn 2 was a Detonation Pact. It was a creature plus a Detonation Pact. It was Ruby Detonation Pact. It lets me get so far ahead on the board. And now he goes to play board control. Which, that might just be a mistake. Maybe he's just supposed to drop me to 9. Because he's played such an... Like, he drops me to 9. And then next turn, he drops me to 6. With his, what's it called? Ping, and then go face. So now I'm under the gun. I'm sitting at 10 HP going into my turn 3. Like, I'm almost dead at this point. And I have this, this what's-her-name, who's a bit of an issue for me. And at this point, I have to make a decision. I have to figure out how I'm going to kill him as soon as possible, because I do not have time. I know Alchemist
plays Scarlet, so I know if we make it to a turn 5 position, I'm going to die. And at this point, I have to figure out how on earth am I going to kill this guy by next turn. I realize I forget to take the dice away, so I take the dice away. And now I go for my 3-drop. And I go for a kind of suicidal play here. But it's like the only way I'm going to win this game. I'm looking at the graveyard. I don't know what exactly I'm looking for at this point. And I don't think I know what I'm looking for in the video either, because I go right back to look at it again. And now, this is where the 3-drop comes out. I believe it is a Cinderwake Ritualist. And I'm just trying to do some math here. And I'm under a lot of pressure. I have to find the kill. And my hand is a Collateral Burst and like all creatures. I don't have any tensions. I don't have any spells other than the one Collateral Burst. I know I have a Fanatic Kindler. I don't even think I have any gate activators either, other than this one Ritualist that I have here. I think this is the only gate activator in my hand. I think the other card is like a Kindler, and I don't know what else. So she comes down, and I get Spice into play. Now here I end up pinging the Spice. I don't have my own Warlord, but I do have Spice, which is pretty acceptable. I do pay 1 life here. And look, this is a turn where he's sitting on these Sundering Strikes in his hand. And he just never gets to use them against me. Which is, like, the reason that they play the Sundering Strike is for the fire matchup. And I just never give them an opportunity to play it. So the card hurts them more than it helps them. And I really think my decision to not play Sundering Strike and to not play Detonation Pact was the reason that I was able to go into an 8-0 in this tournament. Despite what some other people may claim, that deck building choice was what carried me here. So I pay a life here, and I just push 5. The decision is tough if I want to pay life onto the Spice, because, like, look, on this turn I'm dead to double tension. I don't know if Alchemist plays tension. I believe tension was mandatory as a 4-of in this tournament. I find out later after the game that he only has 1 tension in his deck. Again, I believe that deck building choice really came to bite him back here. I think if he included tension in his deck, I would have been okay. Instead, his hand is Sundering Strike, Detonation Pact, and some other stuff. It's all spells. So he ends up having a fairly weak turn here. I believe he goes Spice. Maybe gates something up, plays a Detonation Pact, and holds 1 mana up for Sundering Strike. And so now I have the board, which is not a position... Well, I've been in the position where I have the board for most of this game, but I've been behind on life, and now I'm actually, like, almost caught up on life here. And now let's also keep in mind that opponent did pay 1 life at the beginning of the game to ping his 2/2. He paid 1 life on turn 2 to play his Detonation Pact. I, on the other hand, in this game, I believe I paid a single life just to activate my 0 1 time on the last turn. It was the only opportunity I had where I can pay life in this matchup to get more than 1 damage out of my life. And I think in this matchup, trading 1 life for 1 life, trading 1 of your life for 1 of your opponent's life is a bad exchange. Because the way I see it is, I, as the stronger player, am going to make more out of my 1 point of life than my opponent is. So by paying life, I am increasing the sheer... What's the word I'm thinking of? I'm increasing the volatility of the game by paying more life. So I have taken a very disciplined approach to how I'm spending life in these matchups. I'm spending them much less, and I've made a very active deck building decision to cut back on a lot of the fire burn spells purely for tension, just so that I have clean damage rather than having to damage myself by paying life. So look, now he pays another life. So now this is... What is this? 3 life that he's paid this game? He's paid 3 life so far. Now he's paid 4 life this game. I've only paid 1 this game. I've only paid 1. And now, opponent is at 8 life. He's at 8 life. and I'm so close to dead. If I had paid more life, I wouldn't have the HP to cast spells. And I'd need to top deck. I tap my deck, and there it is. Collateral Burst right off the top. A Collateral Burst did it, and Attention would have done it. So I had 7 outs there on this particular board state, I believe. And now I'm just counting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Or I don't know, dude. I can't do the math. But I just barely get there. Sundering Strike in his hand, useless. I was able to play around it completely. And that's the power of the clean damage in this matchup. That damage, only paying 1 life this game. I had exact lethal because my opponent paid 4 life in this game. If he paid 1 less life, I was dead next turn. He has another Warlord in his hand. I don't know if he has an activator for it. And this was a game without Warlord. I beat Fire on the draw without a Warlord here. This was a well-played game from me. And the real reason I won is because of the way I built my deck. It had less to do with the gameplay and more to do with the sheer fact that my deck was built in a way to not pay life. It was built in a way to maximize on damage output without paying any life. And now we go into the final match that I have on camera. I'm playing against Lightning this game, and this is my my match to go 8-0. I believe I lose the dice roll here, but it's okay. Let's just fast forward a little bit. Let's get to the match starting. I think my hand is great. I like draw well like through most of the tournament somehow. But that's also because I draw well through the tournament because of the way that I composed my deck. Like, my build had less spells. It had less ways to hurt myself. I only had 3 fire orbs. Like, I was able to mulligan extremely aggressively throughout this entire tournament. I went into this tournament with the thought process that I am not going to keep a single opening hand that doesn't open up on at least 1 ray. Often more than 1 ray. Because that was I had identified that was the strongest opener that I could possibly have at any stage of the game in this game, or in any matchup. You just want to start off on 1-2. It lets you assert your dominance onto the board, and I think I keep this hand. I don't know. I don't remember. It's a close hand. I remember the hand was very close. But it ends up drawing really well. Yeah, so I think I do keep the hand. So opponent goes Ray, and I love this out of him. I think Ray is so strong, it should be in the Lightning decks. I see a lot of decks don't play the Ray. And I'm really pleased that the only Lightning person that made it this far is playing Ray. Because that just confirms what I believed with Ray being so strong in this tournament. And I had wrote that in my Metafy article that Ray was the best card in the game. And the only Lightning that made it played multiple Rays. So I do start with a Kindler. And it looks like I have a second Kindler, actually. But I think I go for the Seiko here. Yeah, so it is a Seiko. I don't know what I gate up. I think something small. Yeah, it's something small. It's a Hokuto. So I get my top 5. And I get a second Seiko. I push 1, and then we pass here. And I'm already ahead on the board. Opponent doesn't have his weapon online yet, and I think he just tensions my face. I'm pretty sure he just tensions me. And when I see this tension come out, at this point, I'm like, alright, I win the game. Because I'm so far ahead at this stage of the game. I am not worried at all about losing the board. I know I'm ahead. I know I'm in a fantastic position. This is going to trigger. It's going to hurt my thing. It's going to hit his thing. And now I believe I gate up a Kindler and wipe that Ray off the board. And I play some other kind of something. I don't know what. I might even play Spice this turn. I think I Spice Kindle up, maybe. But no, because I know at some point in this game I go really wide with multiple... It's going into my turn 3. Yeah, so I must go Kindler plus Seiko here. I wonder if I have a third Kindler in my hand and I remove the Ray with the extra Kindler. I don't know how I do this. But I know I play a second Seiko here, and I know I play a second 1-2 here. I'm like almost positive. And it's still like a matter of, I am still under the pressure of Lightning. Like, Lightning can output tons of damage very quickly. I have to figure out how I'm going to seize this board as fast as possible without bleeding out any life. And I guess here I'm just trying to figure that out. I do see I have that Spice in hand. I might be debating if... I think I'm debating, do I want to play Spice and then Kindle away the Ray? I think that could be one of the things I'm thinking about here. Yeah, so it is going to be a Ray. It's going to be a Seiko here. Seiko's going to come up, gate out the Kindler, and then I'm going to Kindle away that Ray. And I push 2. And I was drawing really well this tournament. Like, on so many games I have multiple 1-2s. But you know what? Like, part of it is I'm drawing really well. But the other part of it is the deck was designed to be able to mulligan aggressively into these kinds of hands. And it really paid off here. Exceptionally well. I got really lucky with how well I drew in some of these games. But that luck... It is luck. But the odds were tilted in my favor because of the composition of my build. And you see, if you look at all the top 8 decks that were playing Fire, my build was so different from all the other top 8 decks. I think I'm the only person in top 8 to be playing Seiko. I'm the only one to be playing Tension as a 4 of. I'm the only one to not be playing any copies of Detonation Pact. And those factors are why I was able to make such a powerful run on this day. It really came together in a fantastic way for me. Now, opponent is not sure what to do. I believe he plays the 2-drop. He gates it up. He gets that tension back, and he just pushes more damage. And I let him switch the equip. That's fine. It's not a big deal. Like, it's fine, dude. Don't worry about it. Mistakes happen. And now he passes the turn. He holds up Lightning Orb. And I forget to do the second trigger here. Because he had the one creature. I forgot about the second one. And the judge reminds me, I think, that I forgot the second trigger here. There's a little bit of confusion here. I do go to activate 0 on my this guy. Yeah, so I push the 1. And now we're just going wide here. And I go to pay 1. Now Judge comes over, tells me, no, this is supposed to have damage on it. A little bit of confusion here. We rewind a moment, and I just put the trigger on the thing. I ask, is this okay? Am I allowed to do this? Or am I supposed to lose my Kindler here? Like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do. I just make sure it's okay. And it's okay. So now I push the damage. And here I make a play that I think is really heads up. Opponent has 1 mana open. And I just play Ritualist in the back. And I just pass. Here. Ritualist in the back, into pass. And I'm looking to set up an overload turn next turn. And this is, again, what I should have done in that first water game with my Pekiro on turn 4. I should have gone to set up this overload turn. This is a play that I really liked in this deck, that I almost never saw people make in this deck, where you can just leave the 3-drop in the back so that you can overload them on the next turn. Because opponent had 1 mana open there. Like, if I had gated it up, I would have had to get rid of one of my creatures. Because I maximize on board size. So I would have had to get rid of something. And I would have also walked into his Lightning Orb. So now I forced opponent to float 1 mana. And I still have the Warlord coming in next turn. I think this is a super heads-up play. He does go for this. He pushes a ton of damage. I take the 1 damage from the sword, probably. He's deciding where it goes. I take the 1. He hastes it. Sure. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. And now it's my turn. I'm at 9. I'm exceptionally healthy. Opponent is tapped out. And this is my game here. We do the triggers. And now it's just all... Now I just have it here. I've set up an overload here. I have so much damage. We top deck something, maybe? Fire Orb off the top. That's crazy. Push 1. Push another 1. Yeah, so he gets confused because I said 1, 2, 3, 4, meaning 1 damage, 2 damage, 3 damage, 4 damage. He thought I was doing 2 damage to him. We clarified that. And now opponent is at 4. I have the ability to go in with this Warlord and then close it out with Fire Orb. So we play the Warlord. We successfully maneuvered around the Lightning Orb that he had in his hand. And that's another thing that I think is you can really take from these games that I play. In all 3 of these games, I play around Sundering Strike and Lightning Orb. Now, in the first game, I do think I made some mistakes playing into those cards, but for the most part, you see that I've deliberately made lines that have allowed me to make it harder for my opponent to play these cards. And those decisions to play around these certain lines, in addition to just the composition of my deck, with the clean damage. I have so much clean damage that didn't hurt me, that these won me these games where I'm at 1 HP. The water game, I won at 1 HP. This game, I had more HP. I was pretty healthy this game. And look at this, dude. Look at how even these cards, you can see they got shuffled up, dude. Like, it's so crazy. I will address what happened for anyone who watched this far. I went 8-0 in this tournament. And then for this game that I just won, I was given a game loss. And I was given a game loss because I failed deck check. Because some of my cards were upside down. But, like... And if you go back and you watch some of these games, you'll see I draw cards. Some of them are upside down. I draw a couple of upside down Rays. I draw an upside down Warlord at one point. I draw an upside down the Cinderwake Seer. I draw a handful of things in this game upside down. But you'll also see, like, if you look at my IKZs, maybe not in this game, but like in some of these games, my IKZs are just upside down. Like these two, I don't know if you can see my mouse, but like these two, they're facing different directions. Just some of my cards are upside down. Look at my graveyard here. My Collateral Burst is upside down here, and the other one isn't upside down here. So like they're both upside down. And I get accused of cheating in this tournament because I failed deck check because I had some upside down cards. But you could literally see on my camera right here that my cards are... like I have multiple cards upside down here. So my 8-0 win got tarnished because I had a couple upside down cards here. I genuinely feel like my deck was so well crafted for this particular tournament. I was unbelievably locked in on the day. Sure, I made a couple mistakes, but I went 8-0. And I have people coming after me, accusing me of cheating. Which, sure, I'm sorry. Some of my cards were upside down. I apologize. That's my fault. But you can see this is not deliberate here. My IKZs are upside down. I have a collateral burst in my graveyard upside down here. I have another one not upside down here. I'm so on edge. I'm so flustered playing in these tournaments, dude. The orientation of my cards is clearly not what I'm focused on here. These two cards alone show, like, it's just a mistake, dude. Like, I don't even know how this card got here upside down. I'm curious. Like, I just, what, did I draw it upside down and then I played it upside down? Is this what happened? So I drew the card upside down, that one gets played normal, and then this next one, I just play it upside down. I draw my hand, and then I play it like this. It's upside down, it gets shuffled back into my graveyard, upside down. Well, like, shuffled back into my deck, upside down. We can see it happen in a second, right now. I wasn't even planning on addressing this. Like, I can't believe that my integrity is being attacked like this, that I'm being accused of cheating. I'm so... I don't even know what the words are. But, like, we'll see. I shuffle them into my deck just like this. I don't even notice that this collateral burst is upside down. They're literally two are facing opposite directions. Those IKZs go back into my deck upside down. I'm going to shuffle everything. They don't even show me shuffle. But that all gets shuffled back in upside down. Like this over here in this game. It gets shuffled in upside down at the end. Like, look, this Warlord is... I put it into my graveyard upside down. Like, I don't even know why. Like, that's just how I pick it up, bro. Look at that. There's no intention behind how I'm doing this. I'm just picking it up and I'm putting it there. And then at the end of the game, I shuffle it all in. And then I fail deck check because I have upside down cards. This was really... This whole day was unbelievable to me. It was a dream. My deck drew so hot the whole day. I played really well throughout the whole day. I made a few mistakes. Look at this. Look how I put this in. I think I even put this Fire Orb upside down. I almost did. No, I flipped it at the last second. But look at this. They go. The orientation is different. Right there. Right there. That should be evidence enough that this is not intentional, dude. I just put the whole thing upside down. Of course I failed deck check. I put my whole hand upside down, and then I shuffled it in. Like, bro, it's so crazy. People are coming at me, accusing me of cheating. The slander is getting so out of control. Like, bro, I play digital card games. Look at my channel. Look at all the videos in my YouTube channel. This is the first time I'm making videos about a physical card game. Everything is digital. It's impossible for me to put cards upside down in a digital card game. It's impossible for me to cheat in a physical card game. It's just not possible. I really think that this was such a sad turn of events. Completely avoidable. The judge was watching me. The video evidence shows, dude, I am not doing it on purpose. At least I think so. You can say what you will. Anyone will believe what they want to believe. But you can look at my YouTube channel. I have tons of videos where I'm playing high-ranked card games, digital card games, where it is not possible whatsoever to cheat. And that's that. So this... Oh, I don't know why I'm doing this. This was an incredible day for me. I can't believe the 8-0 that I performed. I can't believe how hot my deck drew. My deck wanted to win that tournament so hard. You could see how much that deck wanted to win. That deck gave me everything every time I needed it throughout the day. Even in the last match where after the judge got called, I was just so tilted and I just made so many mistakes. I was given a path to win my game 1 and I lost my game 1 and I was just in shambles mentally for the rest of the day. After the judge call, my headspace was so cooked. Because, dude, honestly, from my perspective, the whole judge call was complete bullshit. You can literally see, like, whatever evidence they have is complete nonsense. You can see the mistakes happening on camera. You can see judges watching me play. You can see all of them there. And nothing was said 3 games in a row. They let me win 3 games in a row on camera before they give me a loss. I don't know, man. But this was the games. These were the games I wanted to at least say something about these matches because I really think I played excellent in these games. The only game that I would point to as where I think I made a significant mistake was that turn 4 in the water matchup, where I think if I had just not activated my gate at all, I think I would have been and I kept my Pekiro on the back to dodge the Mizuyu's torrent, I think I would have been in an incredible position to win that game. But instead I was in a position where I had to top deck, and God bless that my deck gave it to me. And allowed me to continue on with this incredible 8-0 run. It's going to be, for me, a tournament to remember and a tournament to forget, honestly. This was a weekend of extremely mixed emotions for me. Unbelievably high highs and abysmally low lows. And that's that. I wanted to document something about this tournament. So here we have it. I am very proud of my gameplay. I am very upset about the accusations. And at this point in time, I am still allowed... So another thing is this tournament... That thing about upside down cards was not in the rulebook. It was added in the rulebook after I got in trouble for it. It was also added in the rulebook that your first infraction is supposed to be a game. It's supposed to be a warning. It's not supposed to be a game loss. So that thing with my cards being upside down, that was my first infraction. I was not given a warning. I was given a game loss, and I was accused of being an unbelievably disgusting cheater. The messages that I've received, the comments that I've seen, truly have made me cry. I just love card games. I have no intention of cheating. I take too much pride in how good I am at these games to ever want to cheat in these games. It is not aligned with my character at all as a human being. I pride myself on generally being pretty honest, and I try to be a good sport. I mean, you saw my opponent he equipped attention to the wrong thing. I could have said, hey judge, my opponent equipped his thing, he's not allowed to move it. I let him move it. I don't care, dude. I just want to play good card games. I just want to play good games. And this entire reaction that I've seen from people, the complete disregardment of what I don't even know. I don't want to keep rambling about this. Make up your own minds, and if it matters to you, make up your own minds. But we'll see if I continue along in Azuki. I am qualified for the Invitational. As far as I know, my infraction that I got did not get me disqualified. The current rule set says you have to get disqualified twice before you're completely removed. I don't know if I get in trouble again, if I'm just going to get permabanned from Azuki. I have never played in a tournament with this many people. And this was a mistake that was easily avoidable if I had realized the gravity of the situation. So, for example, in future games that I've played, ever since this tournament happened, I have not been playing blank sleeves. I have been playing sleeves with a design. The reason I always play blank sleeves is because in Magic, which is the paper card game that I come from before, which I haven't even played Magic since Hogak got banned. And Hogak got banned years ago at this point. So I have not played a big paper tournament in a very long time. And in Magic, you were, as far as I remember, and maybe the rules changed after the pandemic, or maybe this was never the rules, I don't know. But as far as I remember, you were allowed to have cards up and down as long as your sleeves... Like, your sleeves are supposed to match. In Magic, you're supposed to have sleeves without a design, so that when you look at them up and down, they look the same, and you can't tell that you're marking your deck. And that's the rule that I've always, in the back of my mind, known. Now, maybe since the pandemic, the rules have gotten more strict and cheaters have gotten more creative, I suppose. So you could make the argument that if you if you flipped all your cards and you look at it from the side, you can tell what's upside down and what's not. Now you'll also see that I play my deck sideways, so I can't even see the side of the deck. I mean, I could see if I like moved my head in a certain way and was really trying to look, but that doesn't happen in this. Yeah, we'll see, man. We'll see what happens. I have a very sour taste in my mouth after this tournament. I was extremely excited about Azuki. I was extremely excited to play in this tournament. And this turn of events, where now people that I thought were my friends are coming at me and accusing me and demonizing me like I'm the worst possible cheater you can imagine. Dude, my cards are upside down on this screen right here. I shuffle them in my deck right afterwards, upside down. There's multiple times in this game where you just see me with upside down cards. I don't notice. Genuinely, I did not. It's not something that I'm focused on. I'm so locked into the actual gameplay that's happening in front of me that I don't even realize that this Black Jade Warlord is upside down in my graveyard here. I just pick it up and I put my hand upside down, and then I shuffle the whole thing in upside down. So I have now shuffled 8 cards into my deck, probably somewhere around 6, 7, 8 cards into my deck upside down. I got in trouble for having 16 cards upside down in my deck. 4 of them, I was told by the judge, were rays. Which, if 4 of my cards were actually rays, that is unfortunate. Especially because I was drawing ray all day long. I can see why that looks suspicious. I can. I will admit to that. I can see how that looks suspicious. But only 4 rays were upside down. The other 12 cards was a mishmash. The other 12 cards that were upside down were these cards that I had just shuffled in. Like, dude, I don't know. Crazy to me how this happened. Like, how many rays were in play did I draw this game, even? Just the one? Just the one. I don't know, man. Either way, incredible day. Really unfortunate turn of events. And part of me wants to continue playing Azuki. I really do love this game, but the amount of people that I thought were my friends that are now attacking me over this is extremely hurtful. And with all the amount of videos that I made, GM pack-ins that I made, all the amount of articles I've written, published. I have multiple articles I published for free. I have some that I published behind a paywall. I've made more content in this game than anyone, because I just want the best for the game, and I'm willing to put in the work for the best of the game. And to only have that met with anger and bitterness and jealousy, that certain people blame me for cheating, and that's why that they didn't win. For example, Alchemist blaming me. He lost his game. I believe he lost not because my cards were upside down. I don't even think that mattered much, realistically. I think he lost. He went first. He had Black Jade Warlord. I did not have Black Jade Warlord. I should not be winning this game. I won this game because he allowed me to have exact lethal on turn 4. The only reason I had exact lethal on turn 4 was because turn 1, he paid a life. Turn 2, he paid a life. Turn 3, he paid 2 life. Or turn 4, he paid 2 life. That's the only reason I won that game. He allowed me to win. If he had played cleaner, he would have won that game. If he didn't have Detonation Pact, he would have won that game. If he played any creature on turn 2, he would have won that game. But he didn't. He played Detonation Pact. He made choices in his deck building that cost him the series. And then he went on to lose his next game. If he had won his next game, he would have made 7-1 and he would have gone to top 8. But he didn't. So the idea that it's my fault that he didn't get top 8 is so ludicrous. It's crazy. I paid my dues.
I was given a game loss for a situation where I should have only been given a warning. And for that, I have been accused of being such a vile and degenerate cheater. It's so unbelievable. I've never experienced such an being alienated from a group of people that I couldn't be happier to be with these people. If you look at the videos, I have such a smile on my face. If you see the pictures, I am having the day of my life. One of the most enjoyable days I've experienced in so long. And to have it all just crumble was unbelievable to me. And at this point, I'm really rambling. I don't think there's anything else I can really add, and I'm just going to end this video here. I am qualified for Azuki Invitationals, I believe. Maybe they're going to revoke my qualification, but I don't believe they will. I personally believe that this is purely my own speculation. Maybe the Azuki team believes I'm a cheater, and that's why they went after me to begin with. Because I have the highest win rate in the game. Maybe not the highest win rate, maybe somebody else has a higher win rate, but I do have an exceptionally high win rate in this game. And I've seen the comments from people. This isn't the first time people have thought I'm cheating. So this was just something that they could take and run with. This mistake was something that they were able to take and run with and blow up this whole idea that I'm a cheater and that New York sucks and that LA is where the good players are. And that's just what it's going to be. We'll see how serious I take invitationals. I am signed up for Peoria. We'll see how seriously I take it. If I'm being honest, and I am being honest, Azuki TCG is not my favorite card game that I've ever played, certainly. The game has some unbelievably powerful cards surrounded by a lot of really shitty cards. There are about 200 cards in the game. I don't even think 75 of them are playable. I think way less than 75 cards in this game are playable. I would have to really go through and make a list of all the cards in the game that I think are playable. But there really are not that many. A lot of the cards in this game are garbage. A lot of the cards that are good are degenerate. And the games end in 4 turns. Now, the slower control decks, the water mirrors, they go long. The earth mirrors end a little faster than I'd like them to. Lightning matchups just end so quickly. It's not something I'm at all interested in playing. And now they banned Rushfire Gate, which is reasonable. The Rushfire Gate deck that I played this weekend was potentially the most powerful deck I have ever played in any card game at all. Genuinely, it was unbelievably powerful. And it was a joy to get to play, because it's fun to play broken decks, let's be honest. Some of my most memorable decks of all time are like Frothing Berserker OTK, like Patron Warrior, like Hogak. Just these decks with unbelievably powerful game plans. It was really a joy to play. But now that I can't play it, and basically where I'm at is I feel exiled from this game's community. That I have put a lot of passion, energy, and effort into this game. And I feel exiled from this game's community. And that really hurts. And on top of this exile that I perceive that I'm facing, the deck that I was playing has gotten banned. Which I don't disagree with the ban. I think the deck was too strong, of course. I wouldn't argue with that at all. I do fully believe that the deck is too strong. But I just don't feel like this ban fixes the format. That's my real issue. Is I think the decks in the format are just not healthy decks. Does that make sense? I think the whole games format was unhealthy. That's why this Rushfire Gate deck was so powerful and so degenerate. And this Lightning deck that's in the format is still unhealthy. It presses so much damage, and it's so linear. It's not a deck that it's not like there's so many variations you can make in your play patterns with this type of deck. With Earth, it's literally just ramp into big thing. This is not a deck that has complicated play patterns. So this Lightning deck has no complex play patterns. This Earth deck has no complex play patterns. This Water deck, like, sure, you're making mana, and you can argue that that's allowing you more complex play patterns just because you're getting access to more mana. But this is a deck that's just White Weenie with, like, a little bit of interaction. It's not like White Weenie is such a complex deck either. So it's like we're left in a format where none of the decks are complex. The Fire deck, though it was egregiously powerful, was actually the most thought-provoking deck in the format. So now you've lowered the skill bar to this game even more in a game where I already felt that skill was not being rewarded so much, and that it was just like you could just get carried by this unbelievably powerful Fire deck that could just steal decks out of nowhere, or steal games out of nowhere. So it's like, if I don't want to play any of the three other elements, I don't find them mentally stimulating. Fire is the only deck in this game that I find somewhat mentally stimulating. And now I feel like Fire has been nerfed so hard that I'm not confident that it's good enough to play at all anymore, because the other gate, Rushfire Gate or Ragefire Gate, is just weak. It's just a not good gate. All it does is push damage. It doesn't allow you any board control. It doesn't allow you any ways to cheat mana. And like, the way that I see you want to play Fire now is you want to play mid-range. And this burst damage from the gate is just not conducive to this mid-range game plan that I think you want to go for. So we'll see what happens. Maybe I'm able to build a Fire deck that keeps me excited. But I find it tough to believe that my excitement for this game can last at this point. Just because of how emotional this last weekend was. And I didn't make... I took a week. I took over a week before I recorded and made this video. I wanted to allow my emotions to settle a little bit. At this point, I have come to terms with the fact that I am this game's villain, which is unbelievable to me. Even still, I've come to terms with it, but it's unbelievable. I mean, look at my playmat, bro. My playmat says enter the hero, and I am this game's villain now. I don't know. I just wonder. I wonder how. I wonder why. How many people in that room would have failed that same deck check that I was just crucified for? I really wonder. But yeah. That's it. That was the end of my 8-0 run. It will be a run to remember. That's for sure. I do not know what game I will be playing next. If it's going to continue to be Azuki. If I'm going to do something else. If I'm going to take another break. I mean, you guys have seen, if you look at my channel, I've taken a handful of breaks from different games when I felt it became mentally unhealthy for me to think about these games. And that's where I'm at with Azuki at this point. I feel I've committed so much of my last however many months of my life. What, since March maybe? What is it? March, April, May, June, July, October. Wait, what the fuck? I don't. January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August. So it's 5 months. Dude, I don't even know. I don't know my months, but yeah. I've committed so much of my energy in the past 5 months to this game. And for it to end up with what is the most slanderous accusations that I have experienced in my life, and for it to have ended up with me being exiled for this game that I've committed so much of myself to. It just really hurts. I'll take extreme accountability. I'm sorry I shuffled cards into my deck upside down. I will forever apologize for that because that was clearly my greatest sin in this tournament. And that's it. I think my win rate was just so good in this game the entire time that from the very beginning they were looking for a reason to ban me. They were looking for a reason. That's crazy, dude. That's so crazy to me. That I just played this game so well and so honestly that the only and so passionately that the only way people can cope with how well I was doing in this game was to accuse me of cheating and to not even give me the slightest benefit of the doubt when you can see on multiple occasions on camera me just putting cards into my deck upside down, my IKZs being upside down. It's so intellectually dishonest that I don't know, man. People are going to see what they're going to see. I'm sure people are, if anyone is even listening to this, that is, I don't think they would listen to this because I am so, I think they just want to hate on me and me. I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm going to cut it off here. Thank you for watching if you watched it this far. And that was my Garden Regionals first Azuki tournament. It is going to go down in infamy in my life. And it will be a weekend to remember. And a weekend I wish I could also forget. Thank you.